Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video of each and every weekday, that player props video we love to bring you. Looking to stay pretty hot on this one as we are well above 500 in the year 2022. So we'll continue to look to keep that going for you. Make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com as well, with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page, as we got a couple other game videos up for you today as well. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, the game I'm going to be looking at is the Thunder and Bulls, and you can't get the numbers up yet for the Bulls because Zach LaVine is a game-time decision. I think I would lean towards DeMar DeRozan as long as his scoring prop is around 26 or lower. Been on fire lately. Even if LaVine's back, they're still going to lean on him tremendously in this matchup. But what we do know is on the other end, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be leading the Thunder. And as I mentioned in that game video, it's a big game for the Bulls because it's Billy Donovan's first matchup with his old team. It's also SGA's first matchup with his old coach. And he's had success against the Bulls when Billy was his coach, averaging 25 points, nearly 6 rebounds, nearly 5 assists in his last 3. A PRA of 36.5 is right at those averages. He's been topping that lately, though. His last 7 overall, 27 points per game, 7 assists, and 5.3 rebounds on a 33% usage. And then you look at the more significant games, or for him at least, he seems to like facing the other conference because it spikes in his last 8. Against the East, 28 points per game, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds with a higher 34.5% usage rate. The odds are pretty good on this PRA for a guy who's just controlling everything for his team. He is the elder statesman for a Thunder team that has few other options, which is why you actually see him put up bigger numbers on the road. But in this kind of situation, I think he comes to play with a big line. I mean, you just look at he has 29 points in 6 of his last 8 overall, and most of those are against high-profile teams like the Nets, the Mavericks, the Cavs, and Hornets, teams that you would expect him to want to come to play with. So 24.5 points might be the safer bet here. As you know, when anybody sports a 35% usage rate, even if their team has a poor offensive rating overall, you shoot enough times, you're probably going to get around 25 points here in the NBA. And as we mentioned, Bulls have the worst defensive rating over their last 7, so it's a ripe target for him to get those buckets.
And you look at why the Bulls have the worst offensive rating in their last 7, and it's not having a combination of of Lonzo and Caruso for various games over that time, and now both of them out, including Caruso out for that 6 to 8 weeks. That's where SGA is going to do all of his damage, obviously. So your 2 best defenders, and the reason that the Chicago came out roaring on defense out of the gates was not even surprisingly at all because of those 2 guys, both of them out tonight. And so you feel really good about SGA getting his against the Bulls. Another guy I feel pretty good about getting his is Jarrett Allen playing against my New York Knicks. You play in the Knicks, you got to have some bigs in there to battle with them. They were pretty bad on defense down low were the Knicks. They've gotten a bit better in their last 8 or 9 games or so, but still Jarrett Allen, 13.5 points or 24.5 points in rebounds. I think I'm leaning towards the points. You actually get slightly better odds at minus 104 on FanDuel there, just needing just 14. In his last 2 versus the Knicks as a Cav, 16.5 points per game on 13 boards and 3.5 assists. They are playing in Cleveland, and the Knicks are a little bit worse in terms of points in the paint allowed on the road, where they're incredibly good at home, but give up some more of those on the road. Jarrett Allen's offensive rating this season has just been incredible, about 130.9, averaging that 16.3 and 11 boards a game on the season. So I do feel good about him to get the 14 points, and I like that the odds there. I'm not too scared of the 24.5 points of rebounds, because if he's going to get those 13 boards a game that he's been averaging against the Knicks as of late, you feel pretty good about him getting those 12 points or so. It does decrease the amount of points he needs, but 13 is still a lot. That rebound prop is at about 10.5 for him tonight, which I would consider. But at 13.5 points right now, I think he's going to have some opportunity for some second chance points and to get to bang down low a bit. Especially, I think Nerlens Noel is probably going to miss tonight again. So a little bit less of depth down low for the Knicks should spell at least some pretty good things for Jarrett Allen tonight.
Yeah, and while he was traded from Brooklyn, he still has a bit of that revenge streak, it seems, when he plays the New York teams. But really, it's more about matchups in this one, as you meant. Yeah, you just need bigs to deal with the Knicks, and in a mucky game like this, the bigs are gonna get their boards. They're gonna get their ugly points down low. He's gonna get trips to the free throw line. I would just consider double and a win at plus 170 instead of taking the Cavs money line at minus 250. I mean, why not? They're going to need that kind of production from Jarrett Allen, and I think then you can get a cheap 10-10 or 12-10, and that would pay off pretty well.
True.
I'm looking at a good rebounding guard here in this Pelicans-Pacers game. As we often like to do, Josh Hart is one of our guys that we love to ride in player props, and that usually comes through for us. His props are down a little bit, despite the overall consistency, double-digit points in 17 straight since he kind of righted the ship for the Pelicans in early December. This is a team that's won 7 of their last 9 at home, and Hart in his last 8 home games, 15.3 points per game and 9.1 rebounds while playing nearly 37 minutes per game. So 15.5 points is nearly even money. That seems pretty safe. You can take him to get 15 in a win against the Pacers team that has ruled out Brogdon, Turner, Sabonis, and has LeVert as a game-time decision. So I think the win we feel great about. So even money for 15 points or in a win plus 200. And you can get his points rebounds at 23.5 for a guy who's one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA. Has a 12% overall rebounding rate on the season, grabbing those boards when he's out there. The Pacers are struggling with those guys out on defense. Their last 4 giving up 119 points per game, the 4th most offensive rebounds and total rebounds in that span. So it lines up well for Hart to grab a few extra boards and get you over both these props.
Yeah, no, I feel that, Indiana is not playing anybody anymore. It seems that actually didn't matter when they beat the Dubs the other night and the Lakers 2 in a row there. But still, it's more about what New Orleans is doing as well. As you mentioned, winning 7 of their last 9 at home, playing really, really well at home. Also against the Eastern Conference, playing really well at home as they've been beating up on and they've actually covered the spread in each of the last 7 against the Eastern Conference. Just a little nugget on how well they're playing against those teams. I would feel good about New Orleans actually winning this game tonight as well. Nothing necessarily to do with there aren't too many sort of player performance doubles available for Josh Hart tonight that I'm eyeing in this one, even though I do like the Pellies to win. But I would feel really good about the points too, or the points and rebounds. I think we can expect a good amount of those tonight without Indy having any of their starters that really matter as well, unless LeVert plays. So I'll follow you on the Josh Hart one pretty much whenever we talk about him. I like that one tonight. And then lastly, a guy that we've also actually hit on a couple times as of late in the recent month or so, Cam Johnson on Phoenix, and really his points and rebounds right now sits at 20.5, which gets you about even money on FanDuel and your return there. And the starting point for us in looking at this game tonight is that there's no Jay Crowder, and when Jay Crowder's out, Cam J is unleashed. It starts with his minutes going up about 7 minutes a game from 25 to 32 in the 6 that he's played without Jay Crowder in the lineup. In those matchups, averaging 18 points to 5.5 boards on 55, 50, 90 shooting, averaging almost 3 threes a game when Jay Crowder's out. You look at what Utah's doing as of late. We mentioned in our other video about this game, Utah in their last 8 games where they've been struggling mightily, losing 6 of those 8, down to 22nd in defensive rating, whereas they are 4th on the season, dropped to 11th in rebound percentage as well, which is only impressive or noteworthy because they're number 1 on the season. So it's a pretty big drop for them. And very even more surprising, dead effing last in opponent 3-point percentage. They are 5th. They were 5th on the season, down to 8th now total, but in their last 8, dead last in that opponent 3-point percentage. So you got to feel really good about the ball moving, especially with DA out for Phoenix. The ball is going to be moving a lot on offense and not really going down low as much as it will be flying around the wing with CP3, Book, and Cam Johnson and company.
Yeah, company. That's for the same reason why I like Mikal Bridges props a little bit here with Crowder out. His points total, you're not getting great odds on 12 points from him, but I like when you parlay with rebounds, 16.5, you get even money. And I think the best player performance double I see in this game is Bridges' 5 rebounds in a win at plus 200 against a Jazz team that's not up to their usual standards offensively. So it's creating a lot more rebounds. Rudy Gobert is not healthy and is actually questionable to play tonight. So it could hurt their rebounding there. I like Bridges. I also like Cam Johnson. I'm just a little wary because since he's come back from that ankle injury, his production has not ramped up entirely. But this could be the night he does it because Jay Crowder's out and they need him more.
Yeah, either one's fine. I mean, Mikal had 23 the other night to lead them in that victory that they had against the Pacers, I believe. So, I feel good about either of those guys when Jay Crowder's out. I'm sticking with Cam right now because of the 3-point increase as well. But both are seeing pretty good plays, especially in the player performance double for as you mentioned for Mikal. So that is all the time we have in this one. Looking to stay hot on these player props picks. So make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page and check out those other couple videos we have as well for you today. And until we see you next. Happy betting.